Peoples, what's going on? I am Finesse. This right here is Bella. We got the other two ladies outside, and we're back in Finesse Garage for another install. So today we're going to be putting on the Custom Dynamics ProGlow system on Bella. I already have it on Miss Finesse's Chieftain. It's going to be a similar process for both bikes. And then once I get done, I'm going to show you both bikes and how they light up. Also, I'm going to have to make a few modifications to the install that I did on Mrs. Finesse's bike, just because of the way the bike is constructed. But I'll show you guys that in the video. So without further ado, let's get busy. All right, guys. Before we get started with this install, I did want to show you something, right? So this is the toolkit that you get when you buy Indian motorcycle. You know, it's got your key, it's got a spare key in there. It's got a couple of tools, got some Allen keys, all right? And that does work well. However, Indian Motorcycle provided me with this toolkit right here, which is a really nice toolkit. I believe it's a Cruise Tools. That's what it says on there. So you have it's like a little wrap with a flap on there that you open up. It's got a tiny little ratchet in there. That's really useful. You have all other kinds of connections. You have some tape. You have some star drivers. You also have a Phillips and flathead screwdriver, Allen keys. These tweezers are not part of the kit. That's something else. You get some zip ties. You get a tire pressure, vice grips, the wrench, or I don't know what that is. A crescent wrench, an adjustable crescent wrench, and then you get some crescent wrenches. And this is a spot to put the tools for your suspension that come with the bike, so they don't provide it, but they do provide a place for it, so that's pretty cool. And then you have these things down here. I want to say these are probably for the triple tree if you're like taking apart the front end. But I mean, this is really awesome. I've been using this on all of my installs since I received it, and I will be using this today. All right. Also, if you may or may not see this in the background, but me and Mrs. Finesse picked this up while we were in Columbus, Georgia. They had a rug sitting there on the floor. These things are hard to find. I really, because I've been looking for this for a while. I know there was a sale recently where they had a few of the Elite rugs that were on there. So I don't know if they're discontinuing these or what's going on, but I saw this and I really like these, so I figured I'd get one. I may or may not try and find another one for the other side of the garage, but I really like the way this looks, man. Super, super nice. It even feels good when you're walking on it. Like, it's not, I mean, okay, it's not padded, but the material feels good when you're walking on it. And we've been riding the bikes over this entryway every time we take the bikes out, and it still looks brand new. Albeit I just vacuumed it, but it still looks very, very good. So apparently it's very durable. Hopefully they're not stopping making these. Maybe they're just going to a different design or something. But enough of that. We're going to get back to this install. All right, everybody. Let's take a look at what we have here. Right here, we've got the ProGlow Complete Plug and Play LED Accent Light Kit. This one has a Bluetooth controller, so what that means is you can get the app on your phone and then control your lights from there. All right. When you open it up, you're going to get an assortment of lights as a kit. For your install. All right, so we got some long ones there. We also have an assortment of some short ones. All right, you get a healthy amount of zip ties as well as alcohol wipes, and then you have some end caps for the LED lights. Here we got a 7-inch Y splitter. This is a 14-inch Y splitter. This is a 44-inch 5-way splitter. These are 24-inch wire extensions. Another 24-inch wire extension. And then you also have a 12-inch wire extension. Also, you can customize your kit on the site with extra splitters and extensions, extra lights if you need. You can get all of these things kind of a la carte to where you can customize your system to how you want it to be. All right. Also in the box you get the controller, which is a small unit, and this will have your button that connects to your battery, as well as the brain of the unit. Your 3 outs, your power, and then your brake light if you want to add that onto your bike as well. And of course, you're getting instructions with a little diagram. However, looking at the diagram, which I'll show you guys once we get it connected, but this is probably an easier way of looking at it. Putting all of these lights on this one, the five splitter, I found that the lights were a little bit dim. I don't know if this is the way it is on Indian motorcycles specifically, or if this is just a thing. But you're gonna use your zones, which is what it is, the 1, 2, and 3 here. So you have 1, 2, and 3. So the front end of the bike is here, the middle of the bike is here, and the back of the bike will be here. So instead of doing the 5 here, I'm going to be splitting them up through this module here. So, because like I said, I tried this the first time on Miss Vanessa's bike, and the lights were a little dim. Some of them weren't working, like it wasn't getting enough power. So, and then the configuration that I'm going to show you guys is how I did it, and it works perfectly. So it could be specific just to Indian motorcycle, but like I said, that I don't know. But either way, it's a great system. We're going to get this all laid out and then get it installed, and then we'll go from there. All right. You have to excuse me, the fan is going, so it's probably making a little bit of noise, but I'm hot, so cool. So I got the bike all disassembled, saddlebags off, got the seat off, got the tour pack off. I also have the front end of the bike off, sitting on this beautiful Indian motorcycle carpet, rug rather. And I was installing the power plug for this ProGlow module, or the ProGlow lighting, and I have it tucked back here, but I'm gonna have to make a change to this because I want, let me get it out, I want my button for the lights to be in this left side pocket, right? And if I put it in there, I don't have enough space because this wire here is not long enough. So what I'm going to do is I've got some wire over here that I'm going to add to it in order to give me a little bit more room. And then I'm also going to be placing the brain of the ProGlow system up underneath the fairing right under here. I'm just going to attach it right there so everything is nice and neat and out of the way. I don't want to see any wires at all. All I want to see is the light. So as I'm gonna get this all done up, and then after that I'm gonna start mocking up the lights, and then I'll bring you guys back in for that. And so let's get to it. All right, so I have the wires connected on one end. So as you see, this is the connection that I used, and I wrapped it up in some tape. However, I still do have the leads connected to the, I haven't cut it to length yet because I'm gonna have to measure it out, or at least run the wires where they need to be to make sure that I get the right amount of wires, because like I said, I don't want any wires to be seen. All right, so I've got the wires run through. As you can see, the negative is there, the positive is there, running on up through. This is the clutch cable, so I kind of zip tied it to that. Ran it up. This is inside the fairing on the inner part of the pocket there. The button's gonna go. The button's gonna go in there. All right. Then we got the rest of these wires here. And then coming up here to this, this is where it joins. Coming up around, on through, I got the power connected right there, hanging down below. And underneath is the module for the ProGlow unit. And then it's just zip tied in there. I didn't like tape it or anything. But it is close to that amp. So I might move it a little bit just to get it away from the amp, but that's how it sits right now. And yeah, now I'm gonna move to the I guess the layout of the wires, because I'm gonna have to make some long runs having this unit up here, because I got to go all the way to the back of the bike, all the way from there all the way up here to the front, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to hide all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna bundle it all up through here, because all that's covered and you can't see it. So at least that's the plan. We'll get everything laid out and see what happens. All right, let me show you what we got here. Okay, so like I said, I already have this stuff here wired up. The module, I have all my connections made to the module. So I've got the front, the zone 1, which I'm going to put right here on the inside of these fenders so it shines down on the front wheel. Coming around. So like I said that I was going to do, I ran all the wires down through this, the left side of the bike, down around through here, back down through the inside of the radiator housing, down below where there's already wires running through there, as well as I believe it's there's a line that's going through there too, maybe a brake line, but it's a hard metal tube, so I just zip tied the wires onto that tube. Going on down, I can show you down here. You can see where the zip ties are. That's where the wire is running through, and then it's coming up to the side through right here. And I left all the zip ties on so you could see what I was talking about, or so that I could keep track, because otherwise I'd have lost it. But anyway, coming through here around the dipstick, around that area down by the fuse, I got a small little bundle here. And then I've got, I'm gonna put one light down on this swing arm, and the same thing on the other. Zone 2, I have it running through the neck, up underneath here. And I got the there, so that's gonna attach right there, and then I'll tuck all those wires. For the pigtails, the end of the pigtails that I did not use, I did cut those off, and put some electrical tape on them so that you don't have that tab, so that you don't have this hanging off the end of what you're not using. Doesn't affect anything. The LED still runs. But like I said, I put some electrical tape on it to keep it protected. But it's going to be up here, up underneath where you can't see it. So all I have to do now is wipe down the parts that I'm going to be sticking the adhesive for the lights to in alcohol to get those nice and clean. Get those stuck on. Once I do that, I'm going to give it a test run, which I've already done a few times. But I'm gonna give it a little test run to make sure everything's good before I button it up, And then after that, I'll show you guys the finished product as well as what I did with Miss Finesse's bike. All right, real quick, let's take a look at these lights. So these are the lights that are in the kit. Let me turn it this way. Using a short one, so you know it's easier to handle. So you have these arrows here that are on the top, and you're going to point that. The instructions say you're going to point that to the front end of the bike, and that is for one of the patterns because the light will do it. The light has a chasing pattern, and this is the direction that that chase is going to go. Now, like I said, the instructions do say to have that going towards the front of the bike, but it doesn't matter which way you orient it. You can orient it this way or this way. The important thing to note is just to make sure that you have all of these arrows going in the same direction, because that is what is going to give you that flow from front to back or back to front, however you have it mounted. And like I said, when I was in the video, when I got everything connected, at the ends, you would have either one of these hanging out or one of these hanging out. And I didn't like the idea that I would have to tape it up or secure it some way with a zip tie. So what I did was just cut the end off and taped it off. Now I cut it at the end of this. I did not cut it way up here because you don't want to damage anything, obviously. But when I cut it here, it seemed to work pretty good. And I tested it out on one of these shorter lights, one of the extra lights that I had, to make sure that that it would still function, and it did. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking at these LED lights. And also I do like that it's a black background. That way it kind of blends in when they're not on, because when you're looking at the bikes, like I said, one of my biggest things is not seeing any wires. I hate seeing wires hanging down. And we're looking around the bikes here. I have Miss Finesse's button sitting right here. And when you're looking at the bike, there's no excess wires hanging down anywhere where you look. Everything's nice and neat. Same thing on the Pursuit. There's no wires hanging down. Now, with the placement of where I had to put it, you do see a little bit of the light strip down there on the swing arm, but other than that, there's really nothing else that's hanging out. That's the only place that I could put it to where it would make that it made sense. So I could live with that. But as far as everything else, though, there's no wires hanging around. You don't see anything, and it looks like a stock bike until you turn it on. All right, let's take a look at what we did. All right, so I cleaned up the front end there. Got it all nice and zip tied up, ready to go. Everything's looking neat, just like I like it. I don't want to see any wires hanging down. Same thing from the side here, underneath the gas tank. You don't see anything. And then, of course, you're not going to see those with the saddlebags on. So everything's good. Everything I routed back behind here. So this is all loose, but it's okay because the backrest mount actually keeps everything nice and neat back here. So just as an added bonus. So let's go ahead and pop it on real quick. So it's going to be flashing because I haven't synced it up to my phone yet. So it's just flipping through the colors. And then you got the lights up front here. And then, of course, I'm going to turn the lights on with the garage closed just to show you guys how that looks as well. Also, I do have more lights that I may add. It's really hot out here in the garage, so I might add them a little bit later. But I do believe I am going to put some on the tour pack, so when I'm going down the road, the tour pack lights up as well.
Came through dripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. flow make digits, I'm on my business. Stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us red run when I tell a peace. Love is love. Love is love. Adios. Bendo with the switch again. Boy deliver like he heffin'. Core with digits, give him estimates. Somersaults for my Benjamins. I got what you need, baby. Skirt the Chevy, make a scene, baby. LABB been the team, baby. Bim Papa, word the G, baby. Look, labs till I'm finished. Had a handful of lemons through the hand. Got a bag, now the hands in the business. For my hand, it's a ticket. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I've been playing with the minutes that they been shoulda gave. And I'm flipping every digit that they been shoulda paid. Had to find a way to get it. No, this isn't what you made. If I ever wanna dip, then I break with the blade. And I'm brinking a blink on the brink of some dumb shit. Watch how I move, cause I know the brink's coming. Watch for the blues, cause I know that they dumping. Nothing in my view, so it's hush on discussion. Hush on discussions, you know what you need to. I keep it in the fam to let you know that I don't need you. Y'all cats be see-through, and not the peace. You think king, I'm regal, got it in my abyss.
All right, that is going to do it for today. This was the install of the Custom Dynamics ProGlow system on Indian motorcycles, my wife's Chieftain, as well as my Pursuit. Like I was saying in the video earlier, there was a few things that I had to, well, not a few things. There was one thing that I had to change on Miss Vanessa's bike because the way I had it set up, the lighting in the rear, you couldn't see it. So what I did is when I took off the saddlebag, she has this cover that's in between the frame of the body of the bike and the saddlebag, and I placed it on that. So it was essentially up kind of high and facing towards the saddlebags. So I had to take it off because it wasn't coming down. It wasn't shining on the ground like I wanted it to be. Duh, right? But I did the same thing that I did with my bike on hers, and that was putting those light strips on the swing arm. Real simple to do. You just got to make sure you clean it. Make sure you use that alcohol to promote that adhesion, and you shouldn't have a problem with that sticking. The key is getting it clean though, right? So you got to make sure you have it clean. Also, like I said, having the brain of the bike in those 3 zones. I know the directions has it linked up from that middle zone and connected through all of the lights on that diagram. However, what I did was zone 1 was the front, zone 2 was the middle, zone 3 was the rear. So when you're placing this on your bike, at least for Indian motorcycle, you want to make sure that you split those up. You don't want it all on that one zone because you're not going to get enough power through that module to power all the lights, all right, through that one connection. All right, so these lights look fantastic. They're bright, they're programmable. There's a whole bunch of different modes. It gives your bike a real nice look to it at night. But also, when you're driving down the road, you know, because there's no lighting on the side of these bikes. So when you have the ProGlow system going, assuming it's legal in your state, and you have the lights going, it gives you that added visibility. So there's a safety element to it, while it all being a beautification type thing. But there is a safety element that comes with it, and I can appreciate it for that. Of course, if you have any questions about the install, you can let me know in the comments as well. And with that, man, we're going to end it like we do, all right? So ride every day. And most importantly, make sure you enjoy it. Peace.